Hi everyone, 9 o'clock on a Thursday night, South African time at any rate, and welcome to the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters. Well, we've got another jam-packed show, so much rugby to get through. We're going to be talking Super Rugby Pacific. We'll talk Six Nations, URC, all four South African teams are now overseas and in action. And of course, then we'll touch on the Gallagher Premiership as well. But let's get straight into the show and introduce you to the guests. And let's start at the top, a man who hasn't made an appearance yet, I don't think, in 2022. Are we in now?
And I have made two, I think, Brent. I think I made two, man.
Have you made two this year already? Okay, oh yeah, you probably have the years escaping me, but good to have you back on the show.
I haven't been for a while. You're right. Good couple of weeks. Yeah.
Good to have on the show. Yeah, I must say, look, we've had plenty of interesting guys coming on the show, so I've been able to spread the guests out quite nicely. But great to have you back. First of all, tell me how the punting's been going, and secondly, how things with your part of the world. You're a bit close to the Ukraine there, aren't you?
Sure, it's been punting usual, kind of up and downs, but I was a little bit of a down streak on those double trebles that I like to promote on Twitter, even though I obviously do them personally. So there was a bad week or two, but the last couple of weeks have actually been good. I think simplify. It's better sometimes to take a step back and just not overthink it. So it's been I've clawed a bit of it back. So I've actually had a good few weeks. So it's been good.
I saw you hit a treble last week. You hit a treble. I think it was one of those 1 to 12 trebles.
Yeah.
That's a nice one. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I was feeling good about that one. Just looked, when it just looked right that the games are going to be close, and yeah, so it was a good one. So that clawed back and a bit of stake there as well. So it was good. Yeah, in terms of if anyone knows, I'm in the Poland on the border of the Ukraine. So yeah, it's been a hairy day, to be honest. A lot of people are starting to worry, getting messages. So it's actually getting quite real. And in the middle of that, trying to do job interviews. So it's been quite a day, but I've definitely been having my eyes on the rugby as well. So looking forward to it.
Excellent. Well, welcome to all the boys in the live chat. Quite a few joining us already. Shane from Dublin, Shark Brains come in. And then Mark, I don't know if you're on Twitter, but your comments last week, there was quite a bit of drama on Twitter around your comments. But anyway, Leinster did beat the spread. They cut it pretty fine. But anyway, we had some good laughs on Twitter last week. You can go and have a look at the threads there if you'd like to. But good news, the conductor has announced that he's not retiring from Good for the Game. He will be joining us, just giving him a little bit of a break. Let him like a racehorse. I want him to come back fresh. We're having him gelded, and he'll be ready to go when he returns there. But let's pop down. Talking of geldings, a man who nearly gelded himself with a Manscaped equipment a few weeks ago. It's Henrik Swart. Henrik, good to have you back, mate.
Evening, Brent. Yeah, nice to be back on the show. Before we talk about that Leinster Lions game, I should probably just get myself a helmet before I get hit by Mark. I'm a bit wary of Mark when it comes to the Leinster games.
Well, I must say, Mark, I had a good laugh last week because it was so funny because Mark, he does have this thing that maybe a few of the guys are anti-Leinster. And I think it's, you know what I think it is, Mark? Leinster always get big minuses. And there's some guys who just, it's not that they don't think Leinster's good, but they just think, yes, the bookies are overrating these guys. But the funny thing last week was I never had betting on the Leinster game. It wasn't up when I looked. So Mark thought, hey, man, this is totally ignoring the Leinster game just for me. But anyway, Mark, as you know, I didn't do that. And the boys were actually spot on last week. I think both guests actually went for Leinster on the cap there. So, yeah, well done on that. Just a quick one for you, Henrik. I got a lot of messages after the game last week. What was it? Was it the Sharks-Lions game that was 45-31? I think it was the Currie Cup game. The game where did you see on TV, they didn't count the one conversion. So the SuperSport score was 43-31, and the handicap was 12.5. And some of the bookmakers paid out according to the TV score and not the actual score because the conversion was never credited. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter, and I got quite a few messages. Did you pick that up last week?
I actually missed that, Brenton. Yeah, we went camping last weekend, so I didn't watch any rugby on Saturday or Sunday. I just saw the Friday morning game, the Waratahs and Drua. But yeah, on that one, surely the bookmakers should pay out on the official result. And the official result is the official result according to the competition, not the TV. So I'm sure if your bet got paid out wrongly by the bookmaker, you can obviously approach the gambling board or approach the bookmaker first, and if they are difficult, the gambling board will definitely be in your favor on that one. So yeah, but I missed that. I didn't see that. No, that's news to me.
Yeah, no doubt. I suddenly I got emails, I got WhatsApps, and I also got a few Twitter private messages as well. So it was quite interesting. But certainly, as far as I know, the bookmakers paid out. I did speak to one punter today, Mike, who still hadn't got paid out. And I told him, just put it in writing with the bookmaker. You're not going to have a problem. The bookmaker has to pay out on the official result. I think what happened, of course, is some of the bookmakers would have paid out on the, let's call it on the plus, and in fact, the minus actually arrived. So one of those games. So certainly, there's never a boring time in betting. But let's move on to Super Rugby Pacific, Henrik, and I'm going to start with you. We got, first of all, the outright betting scrolling at the bottom, but I'm not going to focus on that. Let's get straight into the action. We've got Highlanders plus 11.5 against the Crusaders. I'm featuring player bet prices, but you're welcome to quote from wherever you're betting or wherever you're getting your prices.
Yeah, Brent, most bookmakers are around about 10.5 probably. It looks like there has been a bit of money for the Crusaders. Home game for the Islanders, but this is they're all in the bubble, all in the Dunedin, Queenstown, that area, Highlanders territory. So and with no crowds, I don't think the home game will be such an issue. This is two very good coaches. I rate Tony Brown and Razor Robinson equally very highly. So it's a battle of two quality coaches. I think the handicap is probably where it is because it's a Highlanders home game. But I think the way to go is the minus. This is a quality Crusaders side. And last week again, I watched the highlights. Like I said, I didn't watch the games on Saturday, but the way they scored the tries, it just looks so easy for them. And I think, you have to go for the minus here. I'd be very nervous taking the plus. I know the Islanders beat the Crusaders last year, and that was the first time in like 5 or 6 meetings. But yeah, I haven't. My bet is not down yet, but my advice is the minus here. I'm not sure about points on this one. It will probably depend on the quote here. But it's always difficult going unders in Crusaders games as well, because they can. It just feels like they can just flip a switch and they can score points. And they do it so easily. It looks so easily. Guys like Will Jordan. So no fuel on the points yet here, but slight fancy on the minus. Not a strong fancy, but minus for me here.
Yeah, Shark Brain just agreeing with you there, saying you've got to be crazy to go against the Crusaders. Yeah, and I must say, last week I was so impressed with the Crusaders, the way they cut the Hurricanes apart at times there. Chris, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, Crusaders were impressive. They're almost back to old Crusaders. It was quite impressive to watch them again at that form. And the Highlanders, I expected a lot more of them last week, and they were very, very disappointing. They didn't play well. I think like almost 20 turnovers. They weren't good. So I mean, I'm definitely expecting them to be better, but to live with the Crusaders team, I'm not advising that. I mean, the caps. It's looking at me. I like a plus cap like that in a New Zealand derby, but not tomorrow. I think that's too risky. But I don't have points quotes, but I will be looking at the points because I see a points fest here. I think there's going to be a lot of tries. I might even look at try market. So probably going to get a high line, I would imagine. So I'm going to wait for that first and see what I can potentially get on team points. So that will be my play in this game. I'm not going to back the minus. I'm just generally not a big over 10 minus back anyway, as anyone knows me. But if I was to be pushed to, I would. But I'm not going to just because maybe a Highlanders bounce back. They are at home, but like I said, it's bubble time, no fans, and that does play. If it was a big buzzing home crowd for the Highlanders, I think they would be well up for it. But because it's not the case, and the form that if you want to go on form, then yeah. So I'll look at points probably. I'm waiting for the points to come out, and I'll look at overs on those points lines if I get a good quote.
Yeah, I see no quotes out from what I can see it on the points. If anybody in the live chat does see a quote, let us know. I reckon we're going to be looking at about a points line of about 52.5 there. But let's get into the next game. Chris, we've got Waratahs here. Plus 5.5 at Reds, the Reds. I did just look on the Good for the Game forum. I think it was Brett that just posted. Surely the Reds are the business here. Hammered the Waratahs twice last season. Yes, the Waratahs have improved, but have they improved, Chris, enough to be plus 5.5 against the Reds?
The gut is saying yes. Yes, true. They were absolutely atrocious last year. Yes, true. Reds put them away to the sword last year. But if you go back before 53, Brendan said, oh, that's overs, looking good for overs. I thought it would be 55, 56. Sorry. So but yeah, when you look at the teams, it is a mismatch. I mean, Reds, maybe the Rebels were lucky that it was pouring with rain like it was, because they probably would have put Rebels away further. So I was looking at Tars. I was trying to make a case for Tars early in the week, but now I don't. So I'm going to probably stay out of this one, because this looks like I can't. This is not one that's sticking out to me.
No problem. Let's move on. We've got plenty of games. There's no ways you can bet on every game this weekend. Well, you can, but you're going to be totally stressed by the end of the week. I must say, I love my betting, but after 7 consecutive games, even, I'm absolutely buggered. But Hendrik, is this a game you've got something? And I can already see in the comments column there, Brendan had said he's got something for us, and that's the conductor in this game. So Hendrik, while you're talking, I'm going to bring his comment up as well.
Brent, I quickly read his comment now while I've got shown my phone here just to read the comments. I can't see the comments on my laptop for some reason. I agree with Chris. This is a tricky one on the handicap. I like what I said it last week in the on the forum when I posted my unders on the Drua points, that I like what I've read about the Waratahs' new coach. And they looked good in that game, but they haven't been tested. No. You can't really say they're all for the season on that one game against that team. So I would like to see them first. I'm not going either way. I'm not sure. They might have improved and they might even win this game. But yeah, I would like to see them play against the Reds first. So I'm not going to go anyway on this cap. I like that what I've read about Brendan, because even with if this was a dry game, I would have lent unders here, and I was hoping for a dry game. I would have hoped for 49.5, 48.5 thereabouts points, and I see it's 47.5. So yeah, I'll be on unders on that as well. I can see this maybe being an arm wrestle, or the Reds maybe running away with the game, but the Waratahs struggling to score against them, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, unders the way to go here, in my opinion, but no feel on the handicap, and I just want to see the Waratahs being tested against a quality side first.
If it's wet, I don't see the Reds running away with this at all. If it's going to be that heavy and wet, no way.
Yeah, and I must say I was quite impressed with the Waratahs' defense last week. That's certainly something that's improved. So yeah, I also like the unders play there, 47.5. It's Brendan Vessels telling us to get onto that. Let's stick with you, Hendrik. We've got the Brumbies, who they cost me money last week. I was on Brumbies over 29.5, and they ended on 29 points. They play against Fiji, who were absolutely hammered by the Waratahs. And what have we got yet? 28.5 points. I think it's pretty much where I kept it.
Brent, I agree. This is well set, this handicap. You can't take the draw on the plus, even with this being a big plus. The Brumbies back at home in Canberra, they are very good in Canberra, and they normally come out firing in the first half as well. This is a nice time, this game. It's 5:30 in the morning on a Saturday for us. Nice afternoon game in Canberra. So yeah, it's on the handicap. I probably Brumbies on the minus. But I just have a feeling the Drua might score a try or two here as well. With it being dry, the Fijians one or two individual brilliance, something like that. So maybe early penalty. I'm hoping to get 9.5 points on the Drua. Maybe that's probably a bit ambitious, but I would love to get a single figure points line on the Drua and take overs on them here.
Well, Sharkbrain in agreement with you to look at points on this game. And Chris, I see you nodding your head as well.
I think, literally, Hendrik just took right on my notebook there. Everything Hendrik said there, I agree. I think because of the time of the day, I think Joe have had their game. I think they will get themselves going much more cohesive. Brumbies do let in points, a bit more than they had previously 2 years ago when they were really, really solid at home. But I think I was even looking at 12-13. I was thinking that's the bet of this game. But if I get 9, that's one of my bet of the weekends. I can see Joe scoring 2 tries in this game. I really do. I think if it gets loose, it's going to be hot. It's going to be open. They'll get opportunities, and I think this time they scored against the Waratahs as well. They've got to try. Let's back them to get 2. This will come home.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you actually, if you back the Druid to score 2 tries or or more than 10 points, whatever it is, you actually don't mind if the Brumbies get out and lead by 30.
Yeah, exactly.
Then
you don't have to worry about
the consolation.
Yeah. I don't know what the total of overs is. I mean, the total overs will be in place. I do think Brumbies are going to score close to 40 points anyway. So, I mean, but yeah, just see what that total is. But I would probably stick if it's around 10 on Jura, that's your play, I believe. Yeah.
Normally, with these type of games, normally the ref also take pity on the teams later in the game, so they get a lot of penalties and stuff. And yeah, it's just my feeling that the refs take pity on them, and they get the rub of the green, and they just with the refs' help they get tries. Yeah, I agree with Chris. I could see them scoring 2 tries in this game at least.
Well, I want to stick with Chris for the next game. Before I do that, though, just to mention a big thanks to Manscaped for their sponsorship over the last few weeks. It wasn't a long-term sponsorship, and obviously we'll probably hear from them how we did. But thanks. I know a number of guys who did send me pictures, including Dave, who spent quite a bomb on them. So thanks very much for the support, guys. It was certainly good fun having Manscaped on board there. But Chris, let's go to you. The Blues, my favorite team. They make their first start of the year. Excuse me, -7.5 against the Hurricanes. And yeah, I think this handicap's pretty well set. I no doubt was in this sort of region myself when I set the cap.
Yeah, I know you're a Blues man. Yeah, I am too at heart, but they also ruined my heart. So I think I said there's a lot of love for the Blues in this game. I can see why. There's always hype, but I just want to give my opinion. I don't know about the cap. I'm not sure yet, but I don't believe it's as clear cut for the Blues, just because I think even though the Canes were put to the sword, they've had this run out. They've had a very good game. I have a sneaky feeling the Blues there's a lot of expectation. They're going to come up and it's going to end up in a little bit of tears because they're not going to be ready, and they might be Blues being Blues, and it might get messy. So this is a game I'm not going to run headfirst into the Blues or actually headfirst into the bet. I want to first actually, because I don't know if you guys know, within 10 minutes, you can almost see what Blues side has arrived for the day. So in play, I like Blues in play because you can tell if you see the hookers falling off tackles in the first 5 minutes, you know what's going to happen. And if you see them quite body language is good, they give the fight. So what I might look at for value though is I quite actually like Hurricanes start well to start better than the Blues actually. So like maybe Hurricanes plus halftime handicap is something that I might look at, or even if for value, I might even go Hurricanes halftime, Blues full time for even more value bet. I haven't decided yet, but I feel the game is Blues are going to start slower than we expect, but they'll grind their way back into the game, and they have some powerhouses there. But I don't think this is one-way traffic Blues.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. In fact, if this is the sort of game I'd be looking at the 1 to 12 point margin. So the Blues I see 17 to 10, and the Hurricanes 3 to 1 by the 1 to 12. Henrik, what are your views here? Dean joining us on YouTube reckons entertaining game this is going to be. We could see some points.
Now, Brent, I agree with Chris on this one as well, and with you. The Blues have last week they didn't have their game, so they might be a bit they haven't had to beat out, and the Hurricanes, they had a hard game like Chris said against the quality side. I'm on the plus here. I don't like Julian Sevilla playing at 12. That's a big red flag and a big weakness in my opinion. But apart from that, it's a very good Hurricanes side. Salesi Rayasi is back, and he is a brilliant winger. Very good playmaker. He's got a good left boot as well, and he scores some great tries. And then I like the loose trio as well. 2 better flankers than last week for the Hurricanes. The Blues on paper they look good. The only weakness in my opinion is Rico at 13. He's a good winger, but he's not a good centre in my opinion. But they try to bring him in with the other wingers they've got. I just feel the plus here. I think the Hurricanes, I expect them to start well, like Chris said as well. So I think they'll be in the game the whole time. The 1 to 12 you suggested might be a play as well, but I think the Hurricanes might even win this game. So plus here for me. I see the guys liking the overs here. I'm unsure about the points. I'd hope for a high-scoring first half and then go unders maybe. Early in the season, it's still light in the first half. well, this game is probably under the roof as well, so it's not going to make a difference. But yeah, lots of times you have points in the first half of a New Zealand derby, and then the points dry up in the second half. So I'd look out for an in-play for my main play on this game. On the points, I would wait in play. I would most probably have a bet before the game, but my main strike, I'd wait for points and go unders at half time, or alternatively, if there's no points, look for a bit of value on overs then. Because you on the points in New Zealand games, a lot of times you get the game of two halves.
Yeah, you certainly do. I must just point out to you that your old rival and good mate, 3-Pete, is on the Blues minus. I think I saw on Twitter. So I'm sure he's going to have something to say when he sees that the Undertaker is on the Hurricanes Plus. I'm tend to be with you there. If I was pushed here, I would definitely go Hurricanes Plus. But certainly looking forward to this game. It should be quite an entertaining one. Henrik, let's stick with you for the final game. I made the Rebels plus 2.5. I see they are slight favourites here at player bets against the Western Force.
Yeah, Brent, this Rebels side. It looks like they're starting where they ended last season. They were really disappointed and struggled scoring points last season. And I was on the unders again on Saturday against the Reds, so yeah, I collected easily there. I'm surprised that even with it being a home game for them, I'm surprised that they are slight favourites here. I like the Force. The Force, from what I've seen, they were impressive against the Brumbies in the first game. And the Rebels on the other side were really disappointing. I expect a good season from the Force as well. I'm going to try looking to back the Force. So I like the Force here. One of my strongest bets on the handicaps or the outrights for the games. I like the Force to win this game.
Yeah, I also do like the Force. There's Shark Brain saying he's going to stay away from these teams. Probably not the worst advice in the world. And, pointing out the Force will get a few upsets this season. I like the Force here. I was actually quite impressed with him last week at times. Chris, finish us off here on Super Rugby.
Yeah, this is usually a game I stay far, far away, but I like the Force as well. I think Force are something's built in there, and I think this is their game to prove themselves. And I think they're going to take an opportunity here to show that they are the real deal, right? And I think this is a good opportunity. This Rebel side's there for the taking, so they should go. Let's go take it, Force. Not going to be a strong bet because this has ended in tears many times. These two teams.
Yeah, this is the sort of game that could be a real dour Aussie derby where you just go, I can't believe I'm watching this on my Saturday. But on the other hand, yeah, I mean, I also do like the Force there. I've probably got quite a bit of school sport, which I'm really happy to be attending a game this weekend. So I'm not sure how much of it I'll get to see. But Chris, I'm going to stick with you for the Six Nations. I've also got the Six Nations outright betting scrolling down below. Obviously got France now trading as quite big favourites, but it gets stuck into the first game. And here we got Scotland plus 6.5 against the French. I know that Chris, in his preview on Good for the Game, has gone for any team by 7 points or less. I know it's a bet you also like. I can't remember what price he got. Probably around maybe 13 to 10 or something like that. But he's gone for that. What are your thoughts on this one?
That's right in my camp. That's it.
Did I read your notebook again?
That's it. You did. Is it in my background or something? Yeah, that is the bet. I can't see it in either way. The points could be anything. I think there will be a few points. But I think France are going to win by 2. That will be my prediction. But Scotland can pull it out the bag. They're more than capable. I just, there have been changes. I mean, I thought their back row was outstanding in the starting back row 2 games ago, and they've had to make some changes, even though I think it's Bradbury. I can't remember how to say these names, but he's decent as well. And they got this new guy coming in. Worries me. I don't. Tuipulotu. Sorry, I'm hacking names here. Tuipulotu. He's the centre now at the moment. I thought Johnson was superb with Harris. They are superb together. I worry about him. I thought he lost them a bit of cohesion against Wales. He was part of not a bad player, but I just think his first game, I just don't think he's suited into the Scotland's. He's settled into their style. So I just worry that Scotland are going to be a lot looser maybe this round, and France are just. I think France are now becoming the deal. I know still people are read through them. I have a bet on them outright. I believe they're going to take the championship, so I believe that they've got to go down there and win, and I do. But I don't see separation of 7 points or 6 points either side. It's going to be a tight one.
Nice tight game. I can tell you the 1-12 France to win by 1-12. I'm on Sunday now 14-10, and Scotland to win by 12. You can get 14-5. So shade under 3-1 there. I guess 28-10 would be the other way to read that one. Henrik, your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Brent, you took my bet there at 1-12 on France. I think that's good value. You're getting more than the even money, more than 9-10 that you would get on a handicap. I think France will do enough to win the game, but with it being an away game, I don't see them winning it by a lot. Scotland have really improved the quality side now. They do have a few injuries. I hear you guys on that either side by 1-7 or 1-6, 1-7, but I just feel the 1-12 on France is much better value at that price as well. So that's my bet.
Yeah, I must say I'm leaning actually towards France. I think we could get a tight game, but I'm actually leaning towards the French on the handicap there.
Yeah, it's just like just to cover that last minute penalty, then Scotland get a draw or something, or okay, there's two bets: you get the draw or not the draw. So it depends on when you take.
Right, well, let's go. We'll stick with Henrik for the next game. England minus 13.5 against the Welsh. I know Chris here has gone with a bet that I actually hit last week on the Reds game, which was he's gone England by 11 to 20 points inclusive. And it's quite a nice bet that, Henrik, if you're unsure on the handicap and you're writing a betting preview and you kind of got to get something on the table, it's quite a nice one. Although I did back it last week as well.
Yeah, that is a nice one. And I saw that one from you on the Reds last week. And well played. That was a goodie. A nice price you got there. Yeah, you can get 14.5 on this handicap if you like the Welsh. So that's 2 converted tries. I like the plus here. After that first game against Ireland, the Welsh, they were terrible. And so it's tough backing them going away from Cardiff. But they do have a decent record against England. And I saw some stats on Twitter this week. I can't remember who shared it. The way Wales play when they play against England, they don't kick the ball out. I think the last time they played, they gave them 3 line-outs. And England like playing off line-outs. So they just don't kick the ball out. They kick middle of the field and don't give England any line-outs. So they've got a good game plan against England. And I expect the Welsh to keep this tight. So I like the plus quite strong here.
Well, Shark Brain in agreement with you there. And Johan also putting up his weekly treble force win. Hurricanes cap, Tars, Reds, total unders, 47.5 and 6-1. And I must say, with me not being able to watch a lot of rugby on the weekend, that's probably the route I'm going to take, is take some sort of a treble or something to have an interest across the games. Chris, what about you on this one?
Yeah, so this is one of my bets of the weekend, the plus for Wales. It's Wales always arrive. This is their game. If this is the only game they win every year, they'll be happy as a pig in shit. This is their. So if you look at the history, England don't put teams away in general. They don't put Wales away either. I think the last time they did was that one warm-up game, that was a warm-up game. So I'm not reading into that. Wales. Look, Wales can be horrific sometimes. We know that, but look, they are still the defending champions. So they're up for this game. They showed last week that if they arrive, they're hard to beat. They'll arrive on Saturday. And England, what's Eddie Jones' best team? I don't think he even actually knows. He's chopping and changing. I see Tuolagi's back. They get lost in matches. I don't see them beating Wales by more than 10 points. So I do that 11 to 20 is a good bet, but I expect it closer. I expect I would have put this cap at no more than 7 or 8. So this is one of my bets of the weekend. And I see Fadatau's back. I just think it's solid. I see that drop Louis Zammit, which is surprising, but Adams is back. So I think that's one of my bets of the weekend. Plus 14.
Well, if you thought 14 was a biggish handicap, take a look at this one. Minus 37.5. Of course, totally different opposition. You've got Ireland here at home against Italy. So we've got a big handicap. I know Thoughts on Sports was on the plus 39.5 Italy in the week. I just want to quickly tell you where I didn't cap this game, but I was leaning when I opened the Good for the Game forum post, and there's a link to that down below, by the way, as well as our newsletter, where I'm desperately in need of a winner, I must tell you. But I was also on the Italy plus there. What do you think of this one, Chris? Big handicap. Do you steer clear of it? Or do you think you could find anything here? You're not going to have anything on this game.
I don't bet on Italy games generally, like literally. I think I bet once Italy to score over 7, and they got it in the 89th minute, and that's me. That's done. I don't get involved.
Right. Well, let's get Henrik straight on to this then. Henrik, we need something for you on this game. Well, I'm going to put my neck out there and say I'm backing Italy plus in this one.
Yeah, I also think the plus is the way to go here, Brent. Obviously not as strong, not nearly as strong as the previous game, and even I think France 1-12 is even a stronger bet as well for me. So after 3 Six Nations games, not very strong here, but the plus should be the way to go, even with this being an away game for Italy. I expect Ireland to try to give 1 or 2 fringe players a go here. And it will obviously still be a quality Ireland team and quality players they've got. But yeah, Italy, they've got a good coach now, and I expect them to as time goes, to improve and play better rugby. And yeah, I saw Thoughts on Sports posting the plus on the forum, and he said he'll also look for the best first half handicap, because generally Italy do play first half and then fall away in the second half. But so yeah, that plus 18.5 first half handicap on Italy, I think that's the way to go here. But yeah, also the full-time plus might be the play as well. And yeah, I'm not sure where the points will be on this one. I haven't checked the weather for Dublin. It will probably be a bit breezy and might be a bit of rain, as it always is in Dublin. But if England, Italy's points is like 5.5 or something like that, I think you can take the overs as well. Even with the Ireland defence as it is, with this type of game, this type of handicap, there might be points for Italy here and there. Maybe 1 try and a penalty, something like that.
Yeah, I must say I do quite like that as well. We will get some weather reports. We've got the likes of Shane in Dublin who can give it to us on Twitter, and Dave as well. I'm sure will be WhatsApping me a picture of howling wind blowing in Dublin. That's normally what we get for these games. Let's go to the URC though, and I've got this just the betting on the South African teams below. Leinster very short price favourites for the URC. Let us know in the chat or down below if you're watching the recording of this. I think there's any value there in the outright markets. But Henrik, I'm going to start with you for the first game, and it's your favourite team. And I say your favourite team because you've made a fortune going unders on zebra points over the years. I think this is actually where you got your nickname, the unders taker. They're playing against the Blue Bulls, who I've got to say have been hell of a disappointing. And we've got a handicap here of plus 18.5. And what did I cap this game at? 17.5. Okay, so pretty close to where I capped it in the forum.
Yeah, so Zebra, they will obviously be without the Italian players, and as they, well, I'm not sure how many Italian players they have actually, how many players they've lost, but yeah, they just struggle to score points. And like you said, I always look at unders on their points. Even it doesn't really matter for me how low their line is. I don't mind taking a single figure unders on them. They just struggle to score points. So yeah, I can't take a plus on them here, even with this being a home game, even with the Bulls being disappointed. I think you have to go minus here, and the Bulls will try and make a statement here with this being their first European game, or not the first one, but the first one for the year, and after the travel restrictions and stuff. So I think the minus is the way to go here. I just can't back Zebra. They've been so disappointing, and yeah, their points will probably be very low again, but I'll still take unders on them.
Right, to look out for the unders post there on the Good for the Game forum. Just got a message from one of our female viewers. Please bring Chris up on the big screen. Okay, Mark, I'm going to do that now.
No.
There we go. Right, Zebra plus 18.5, Chris.
That's lies. That's lies. Sure. Well, Bulls have been a bit of a bogey side for me in the last couple of months, to be honest, starting with that disaster on the final against Benetton. And then when they went over last time, they just, but it's Zebra, and the team they're taking, they surely have to beat this cap. They've been in this competition now. They've got some runs under their belts. So this cap, the minus has to be the play. I don't know if I'm betting on it yet, just because of the burns I've had. But in terms of pure rugby and on paper, you got to go Bulls minus.
Right, Bulls minus. I must say, I'd also be leaning in that direction as well. So the next game is going to be an interesting one because we've got Leinster and we've got a big cap. Now, Leinster minus 23.5. Obviously not a full-strength Leinster side here, Chris, but they're playing against a Lions side that's been absolutely woeful, eh?
Yeah, it's Leinster 20 minus all the way. There's not even a discussion here.
You reckon
No, well, look, I did this when the South African teams went over previously. I backed them all and got absolutely burned on that round. And this is a 1 round, right? But the South African team's only there for 1 round, right? I can't. The Lions have been even as you say, because the Leinster isn't the strongest side. Lions have been you can't. It's Lions versus Leinster. You can't not back Leinster in this game, I'm afraid. Even though part of me feels Lions are going to give it a game, but I'm not betting on that. So this is probably a stay away game for me.
Well, let's bring Henrik in there, because Henrik, as much as the conductor's taken some heat over Leinster, I think you were the original one on the show who said these Leinster, the bookmakers are reading too much. I think you actually got the conductor into a bit of trouble there with Mark. What do you make of this one? You got your crash helmet on, and that tells me he's tipping the Lions plus.
I grabbed my kid's bike helmet just for in case Mark is on the chat there. Brent, I don't know. I want to go against Leinster, but the Lions, they've been really poor. This is for me a game. Where I'll probably stay out. And there's so many games this weekend. You don't have to bet on everything. I'm not sure about that. I'll watch the game and I'll look if I see some value in running, but I can't. As much as I want to go against Leinster, I've been relatively successful going against Leinster, even with the abuse we get from Mark on that. I just can't back these Lions.
In fact, I handicapped this game at -27.5, and I'm going to, stick to my guns here. I think a Leinster side that's a bit under strength is still going to be far too strong for this Lions team, and I'll go with a minus here. But what I actually prefer is probably to look for something like a Leinster points, and I'll certainly wait for Dave to give me updates on conditions. I think Cerebral Assassin says it quite well. Lions or shit. It's not really, really difficult to argue with that one, mate. I think you've got it spot on there on that one. Right, let's stick with Henrik then. We'll go to the penultimate game of the URC, and it's Connacht against the Stormers. And here we got Connacht, who were quite impressive winners last week. I know a lot of guys had money on them, and they're -4.5 against the Stormers, who at this stage have kind of looked the most impressive South African side in recent weeks.
Brent, from the 4 URC games, this is one I'm looking forward to the most. I think this is going to be a good game. This is 2 quality sides. The Stormers playing really well. Connacht, I'm a big fan of Andy Friend, their coach, and they are very well coached. I'm not so familiar on who's out from the teams, who's on international duty. So I'm not sure how many guys Connacht have lost here. I have a feeling Stormers can win this game, even with how good Connacht they are. They are very good at home. But I just have a feeling the Stormers can win this. The Stormers, I saw their touring squad today, and it's a quality squad. They've got guys coming back as well. Evan Roos is coming back. Netlin Fouché is coming back. Good scrummager. And it will be windy in Galway, but apart from a few spits, there won't really be rain. So I don't think it will be a wet game. It will be a bit windy. So Le Boc is a bit of you can hit and miss at fly off, but he's actually been playing quite well, and I think his confidence is up. And then one of my favorite players, Warwick Galant at the back, he's such a good playmaker, and he creates tries for the other guys. So I just have a sneaky feeling the Stormers might win this game.
Yeah, I'm also leaning towards the Stormers. I capped this game at 5.5. I was quite surprised my handicaps were as close as they seem to have turned out to be, because I really, also like Henrik, I'm not that clued up on the team, how many internationals and that are out. Chris, let's go to you on this one, though. Connacht -4.5. Are we all on the Stormers?
Yeah, when I saw the cap, looking at the situation, I agree. I like the Stormers as well. And I think Stormers are a better rugby side. So if they go there, better team, better form. If they go there, want to win it, they can take it. So I like 4 is quite a nice bit of points as well. I'll be probably having a bit on Stormers.
Stormers, right, and we'll stick with you for the final URC game. What we'll do after this is get Henrik's opinion on this game, and then get Henrik's best bets, because he's going to leave us for the Gallagher Premiership. So, Chris, Benetton Treviso plus 8.5 against the Sharks.
Even though, again, Sharks should on paper be the better team. Benetton lately have been a very difficult side to go and play against in their place. And on those grounds with the other games that are around, just want a stay away game as well for me.
Right, a stay away game for you, Henrik. Are you getting involved in this one?
No, Brent. To Benetton, they're quite good. Obviously, they've lost a host of players to the national team probably, yeah. But it is a home game for them. The Sharks have been very impressive. But yeah, no, I'm not. I don't have a strong feeling on this one.
I just can see the Sharks if they get pulled into a scrap fest, then this cap starts to look high. That's what I'm worried about. Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I watched this Benetton side. I can't actually remember who they were playing the other day, but for a Benetton side that is missing a lot of players to the Italian team, I was quite impressed with the way they played. And I'm eyeing out on this game. I'm actually thinking, look, I haven't looked at conditions yet, but I'm eyeing out a potential points overs play here. I think we could actually get a surprisingly entertaining game. Let's wait and see what that points line is. I think the handicap quite well set. I went plus 11.5 Benetton. So if I was going to follow my original instinct, I would be backing the Sharks minus here.
Yeah, Brent, I think I agree. The previous games with South African, with Lions, I think it was Stormers and Lions went there, it was points. There were quite a good few tries. So I agree. I think if you're going to bet on this game, look at the points.
I see Shark Brain saying Sharks on the plus, but Sharks are on the minus here. Am I right there, go? I mean, I'm not reading this wrong. Yeah, Benetton are the underdogs here, Shark Brain. So you could get Sharks on the plus, but you're going to get a mighty short price. I'm assuming that you mean Sharks on the minus.
Sharks should beat this cap, but I just, all things considered, it just doesn't sit right. I don't know why.
Right, well, let's actually now go to Henrik for his best bets. Henrik, first of all, thanks. Been great having you back on the show again. And good to see you still supporting the Manscaped brand there. I'm not going to ask you when your last shave was. But what are your best bets for the weekend?
Brent, there's so many games here, and you can probably get into the trap of betting too much this weekend. But saying that, I do have quite a few fancies this weekend, and it's quite a few strong ones. So it's tough labeling just one. I like.
No, give us a few.
Yeah. No, I'll give you a few. My strongest one is probably Wales on the plus. I think that's a very good one. Very short after that, the Force to win the game. I like that as well. And then the Stormers, obviously on the plus, and the Stormers to win the game as well. And then the points ones, I like that Fijian Drua overs on that one. And then obviously the unders in the Waratahs and Reds. So yeah, that's quite a few bets. Strongest on Wales, then Force and Stormers, and then the 2 points place, unders in the Waratahs game, and overs on Fiji and Drua points, and probably overs on total points there as well.
I don't know. There's something about the way Henrik spoke tonight. He seems to have got quite a bit of confidence in that voice, Henrik. I like the sound of the way you spoke it. This to me is a week where you want to follow the unders take, whether he's unders or overs. I think it's a good week to follow Henrik. So Henrik, thanks very much, man.
Yeah, I had a good weekend last weekend, Brent. That normally
I could tell. You can always tell when a punter's coming off a good weekend because he just has that, almost call it a quiet confidence about him. Whereas if you're coming off, like me, when I write the newsletter tomorrow, I'm going to be like, I'll be like thinking over and over. Because even though I haven't done that bad on the punting front, I think I've had 3 losers in a row in the newsletter. So I'm going to be like, yes, I can't go 4, and then you're under pressure. But I can tell the way you're speaking now that you're in good nick and that you had a good weekend. And yeah, it was great having you on the show, Henrik, and hopefully you'll catch Chris's thoughts now on the Premiership.
Yes, definitely. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers.
Thanks, Henrik. Take it easy, man. Have a good one.
Cheers. Thanks.
Excellent. Now we are going to talk a bit of Gallagher Premiership. Chris, let me quickly bring up the outright betting. Scrolling down, you've got Saracens 5-4, Leicester 27-10 second favourites. But let's get straight into the matches. I think we've got about 6 to get through. We've got the Sale Sharks, who let me down last week. They were the newsletter best bet. I needed them to beat the handicap minus 2.5. They came from behind to lead with 20 minutes to go, but they only won by a point. So unfortunately, we lost on that one. They are now minus 7.5 against London Irish.
Yeah, I was worried about that Sales game. I stayed out of it because of that. It's just been watching a lot of Saints this season as well. So that's why I was a little bit concerned. So I'll be honest, out of all the games, Premiership is not the ones I've looked at the most, but I'll give you my high-level thoughts initially. I think Sale at home will do the business. Irish have been quite impressive this year in some of the games, but I just still think Sale at home do the business. 7 is quite a high cap, though, I think, for Irish. So the cap, I wouldn't advise on the minus cap on this game, but this looks good for another 1-12 that might slip into a treble this weekend. Sale 1-12 looks a nice bet.
Right, let's go on to the Worcester Warriors plus 5.5 against Harlequins.
Worcester's not my favorite team in the world, as probably people have realized, and Quins just without their players, they're not as nearly as potent, right? So I think for maybe get home, it's going to be way to Worcester is going to be a test for them. I'm actually might be looking at the points at this one as well. I think there could be a few tries if Worcester give it a good go. I think the game could open up a bit on their fast track. I think the weather looks okayish in the UK over the weekend, so maybe some points plays there is the right option. That's something I'll look at.
Well, Brendan Vessel's conductor is in the live chat. He told us Sale on the minus in the last game, so let's see. And we've also got Alex as well, both of whom will be on the show again soon. And posting their bet. Their Quins have Collier, Marchant, and...
There we go. I'm going to make a call now that Quins are going to win that game. But, yeah, I'm not sure by how much.
Right, let's go on to the next game then. We've got the Bristol Bears, who let me down last week. I think it was Friday night. Excuse me, they were terrible. Plus 1.5 against Wasps. And, tight one this, Chris. What are you doing?
Yeah, tight one. Bristol... So I like Bristol. Luckily I stayed away when they lost. So thank goodness, because they've actually done me well this season. And initially, on first thoughts, I was all over them to go back to Ashton Gate and take a win here. But I've subsequently seen the teams and the starting lineups. Well, Bristol's starting lineup doesn't look that great. It's not their strongest starting lineup by any means. And they've got Lloyd and O'Connor's, kind of few of their big players on the bench. So, and Wasps have Gopperth and Barbary on the bench. So there's some big cavalry on the bench there. So it's now become a little bit of a more difficult game to call for me. But I'm probably still going to stick my neck out here and say Bristol's going to win the game. So, and I'm still going to look at that. And I think there could be some points here as well. So if I get a decent Bristol points line, I still might have a look at that.
Right, let's go into the next game. The Newcastle Falcons minus 5.5 against Bath.
Yeah, so this was a bit high. I was seeing a bit higher in the UK markets when I was having a look, and I immediately looked at Bath on the plus, and I'm not deviating away with that. I was quite surprised with this fixture. I thought Bath might have a better record, but Newcastle don't have a bad record against Bath, which worries me a little bit. But I still believe Bath should be the better side and have a better team and should go there and do a job to cover the cap. So I'm still going to look at that. And I like Bath on the plus, and that might go into a double or something. And I think it actually could be an open game as well. You can almost guarantee Bath games to be, and they both have come off quite decent losses. I mean, even though Bath lost to Leicester, it was Leicester. They put up a great fight, and Newcastle put up a fight against Exeter. But Exeter and Bath are two different teams and two different styles, and I think Bath can open up Newcastle. So I think there'll be points.
Right, we've made good time on today's show. Nearing the end of the show now. Leicester Tigers minus 6.5 against Gloucester.
Yeah, great game. I like this particular fixture at this point in time. Everything, the two teams, I'll go for the home team, no doubt. I like Leicester. And this is another juicy Leicester 1-12 bets. Looks very, very juicy. I'll go for the home team, not the cap again. I'm sorry, I'm not hardly ever pull out a single cap. I've got other bets that I work around at the moment that work for me.
That's fun. You say like a 1-12. I mean, I haven't looked at the price, but home team, I'm guessing you're going to get around 16, 17 to 10.
Yeah,
Leicester,
I think
probably 15,
I will be certainly having a Leicester 1-12 bet with one or two similar bets as last week. Just because that value, if you get that together, you get some really good value out of them. Yeah,
I mean, just to mention, the guys who may have tuned in late to the show, Chris did post a 1-12 treble last week, which hit. What was your? I mean, what price did you get? You must have got 16 to 1 there or something.
No, maybe more. 16, yeah. 16
to 1. Yeah, no. So that was a really good one. So keep an eye on his Twitter account there as well. Right, that takes us to the last game, I think, of the weekend. Chris, Northampton Saints against the Exeter Chiefs. Exeter been a bit costly for me to follow as well. They were I nearly got involved at half time last week when the other team had the red card. and my word, I was going to climb into Exeter even in the poor conditions. And I mean, they only just scraped a win in the end. Yeah, they're underdogs. Northampton Saints -1.5.
Yeah, no, this is a tricky one. I think this is going to be after a long weekend. And I think it's really going to depend on how my weekend has gone, whether I'm going to get involved. Usually I do get involved in Sunday, and it's not bad because I've had a good sleep, and there's not 40 games on a Saturday by, as you said, after the 7th game, your head's going to explode. So what's quite nice about a Sunday late game is I have a nice easy Sunday morning, and I take it easy and I freshen the head, and I actually think straight on the game, and it works out well. So to me that's too closely matched. I can't call that game.
Right, Alex is saying he likes Saints here.
Saints. So to say, Saints have done me really well this season. So and Exeter have also been my bogey side. So on those grounds, I want to go Saints, but because this Exeter buggers have they'll come there and mess my Saints bet up. So I'll wait and see until Sunday. Close game. It'll be quite a nice game to just sit back and enjoy the last end of the weekend watching it.
Henrik just making the point there. I know he always loves it. When there's a red card, he always says the bookmakers overreact. Back the plus. And I mean, last week would have been a classic case. I think probably at halftime, I think Exeter was something like -11.5, and they ended up just scraping a win. So certainly is a good one, that Henrik. Right. It brings us to the end of the show. Before I get Chris's best bets, great to have everyone's comments in the live chat. And certainly I think, probably when you've got so many games, you actually do go through a bit quicker. We're actually 52 minutes in. I didn't think we'd get in under an hour today. But, it's one of those things. It's like when you're busy, you get everything done quicker. And if you've got so many games, you kind of know, well, okay, as much as we'd like to, talk about this or that, you tend to move quite quickly in the early games. But let's go on to your best bets, Chris.
Yeah, so I'm with Henrik. As I said, we obviously shared each other's notes pre-show, but Drua over points and Wales plus 14 are definitely my strongest, with France, Scotland either within 6. Those 3 are my top bets for sure. Then the next 3 will be unders in the Tars game, over 52 in the Saders game. And I think if you can get 52 on the Blues game, overs in the Blues game as well. But I'll actually say another 1 within 7 on the Blues game as well. But I just want to see the points. If the points is too high, either 1 to 7. But if it's 52, over 52. But I'll post it on Twitter if I get more clarity on what I feel around that vibe. But those will be my 6. Well, the 3 are the main ones I set up front, and then those next 3 are my next best.
Excellent. Well, I'll be pondering the newsletter best bet there, but it's nice to know that you and Henrik have got some alignments. I'll probably find something there, depending on whether it's in the points lines or what will be, whether it comes out Friday morning or perhaps late on Friday, or even sometimes Saturday morning if I want to get the points line. I'm not going to rush this one. I'm under a bit of pressure to hit a winner there. But Chris, first of all, to yourself, thanks very much. Great having you back on the show. Hope everything goes well. I know you're looking around for some opportunities and perhaps getting to the UK at some stage. So I hope everything goes well on that front.
Thanks.
And have a cracking betting weekend, and we'll see you on Twitter.
Yeah, thanks, Brent. Absolutely. You too. Have a great one. Have a good one out, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Excellent. And to all the guys in the live chat, great to see you again. Your great contributions, and look forward to seeing a couple of you on the show again soon. Maybe we'll have to get Mark and the conductor on the same show one day. That will be quite a good one. Mark, if you do want to come on the show, by all means, drop me an email, brent@goodforthegame.co.za. I always like to spread the net. Got my regular guests like Chris and conductor and all the boys, thoughts on sports and Henrik. But it's always good to have other guys, and there's nothing to stop you from becoming a regular guest as well. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week, Thursday, 9 o'clock, for the Handicap Rugby Chat That Matters.